What's up, guys? We're here at SCOTT STORCH's house. We're here with VINCE MONTAGE, upcoming artist, SCOTT STORCH.
What up, what up?
Big producer, MIXX, also big producer, and my boy Trevon. First of all, we wanted to talk to Vince about, since you started making music, first of all, what got you into making music?
So I started making music probably 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. How old are you now?
I'm 17.
Okay, so you started when you were 14?
14, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time I ever made a song, I DM'd this upcoming artist on Instagram. And I asked him like, yo, let's get a feature, all this. And I didn't think he was gonna respond because it was like a pretty big artist.
Mm-hmm.
Then he hit me back and he was like, yo, let's do it. I'm like, fuck, I gotta make a song like right now. So I went on my laptop, I went on like GarageBand, I was like, all right, let's get it. Then I made that and I was like, this is terrible. So then I was like, yo, to my dad, I was like, yo, we gotta go to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went with my dad out to a studio near here called Bay 8. And I made my first ever feature on that guy's song. And then after that, I was like, I might as well just make my own single.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I probably made 1,000 songs.
Became more interested in it. Yeah. How'd you meet Scott?
So I met Scott, I ran across Scott I was recording with MIXX at Circle House.
How'd you meet MIXX then?
Which is,
since you met him first?
Yeah, I met MIXX probably 3 years ago in LA.
Mm-hmm.
When me and my dad went out to LA to record, we met him at the Paramount Studios, and we've been building the relationship ever since then.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Scott, I was recording with him at Circle House,
Mm-hmm.
and we went outside, and he already had a relationship with Scott in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and then we just linked up there.
What are you seeing, Vince?
Huh? You know what? I like watching artists grow, and I like watching new talent flourish, and I think he's got a lot of the qualities in an artist that has a lot of potential. So.
What about you? What made you want to work with him since he was only 13?
He was young, and I like to see when young artists really have a hunger for this, because it reminded me of myself when I was that age. I really went out and tried to get it done. And then I see like he's really dope at learning writing skills and delivery skills, and just keeps growing faster and faster. So I'm like, yo, this kid got something.
I remember when you first performed at one of my events. How was that? How did you feel?
Yeah, that was like the first time I went there. That was obviously the first time I ever performed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like pretty up in the air. I didn't know what was gonna happen. But as soon as I got that mic, I was like this is what I'm made for. Like I've been doing this for 3 years. Like finally, like I've had dreams of like this exact moment for so long. So when I went out there, I just zoned out.
Mm-hmm.
Now I remember seeing you after. You're like, I think you're a little bit questionable about it, because it's just like random kids sitting outside of your event.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, that's since they didn't know you.
Yeah.
But like there was still some crowd there when you were performing.
Yeah, so I think you were like, what is this kid about to do or whatever, but then after you were like, you controlled the crowd like pretty well. Mm-hmm. So the first show was good, yeah.
When you were on the way, were you like fuck. Let's not do this.
Nah, I wasn't. Just like the only time I ever got like nervous or anything, I was like at the top of the stage. I probably went to like go to the bathroom like 10 times, bro, before I went on. But as soon as I start that, like the show, I just completely zoned out.
No, yeah, I would have done the same. I would have done this. Like for example, with the parties, like you see how like I always get on the mic, like it wasn't like that at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I would get on the mic and then everybody would just stay quiet and like stare at me, and I would be like, fuck. And I would just tell the DJ to keep playing the music. Cause yeah, it takes a lot of balls to like talk to a bunch of people like that.
Yeah, that's an art by itself, like controlling the crowd.
Actually.
Nah, but for our first show, like, you did really good, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that shit was fire, bro.
And at the tripping night, it was.
That was my favorite one.
And that was a lot of people.
Yeah.
That was a lot of
That
people.
was like double. The power of the crowd gets like so crazy. It's such like 2,000 people.
It is. And I remember there was another artist that performed before you, and you did way better than him.
Yeah.
I remember. I forgot the guy's name. Well, I don't want to say the guy's name, but yeah. But anyways, MIXX. Tell him a little bit about you. Who have you worked with? How'd you start?
So I started in South Beach in Miami. Did a lot of work in South Beach studios. That's where I met people like Scott, French Montana, Tiana Taylor, Rocco, and the list goes on.
When was this? When is it that you started?
That was around like professionally around 2013. Just locked in with a lot of artists, and then Tiana Taylor was really like the first artist who I really locked in with, and she flew me to LA to work on her album. And on that album, I recorded the album, produced a song on there, and then ever since that I worked on every album, and I did produce one of her singles, Morning, with Kehlani, on her last album, and 3 other records on the album. Also engineered the entire album and mixed a couple of songs. I'm also working with Polo G. I mixed his album. Do a lot of work with French Montana. Recently we dropped Cowboy 6. Produced a couple records on there with D-Thing. And yeah, I've just been working, bro, just cooking.
These 10 years, what artists have been like the highlights of your career?
Working with people like I said, like Drake, Cardi B, Post Malone, Soy Lee,
Kanye.
Soulja Boy,
You mentioned Kanye earlier.
Kanye, you know what I'm saying? Working with Puff, you know, I learned a lot working with him. Down right here in Miami, and LA, and you know, I work with a lot of people, and the best thing about it, also Scott, you know, I worked with Scott with Keisha Cole. That was a dope day, meeting them and working with them. And you know, I just like working with legends. It makes me better every day. You know?
The most part of your work, has it been here or in LA?
I would say now LA. When I started here, I've been in LA for like 7 years. The core is here in Miami.
What about you, Scott? When did you start making music?
I started making music like professionally around 1993. I was the original
30 years?
Yeah, original keyboard player of The Roots and songwriter, composer.
The Roots are the ones in the Jimmy Fallon show, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Hip hop group.
So in these 30 years, I mean, some people might not know, but I know the songs, but name the, let's say, top 3 most popular that you've worked on.
I mean, I would say, you know, Spotify just did a thing on the 50 most important hip hop beats ever in history. I had the number 1, just Still Dre, Still DRE, Dr. Dre song. This was the number 1 track, a music track in hip hop history. So I've composed and written, you know, at least 500, 600 songs, which most of them are all hits. I did The Candy Shop, 50 Cent, Just a Little Bit, Lean Back. You know, tons of stuff with Beyonce. Tons of stuff with, I mean, pretty much I work with everybody. Jay-Z.
So you have a play also with Eminem?
Yeah, I mean, I've done tons of stuff with all of these guys, you know.
What new artists have you worked with? Like new as in the past 5 years?
Post Malone. Just this past week, London and the Track, and myself, we did a bunch of stuff for A Boogie.
Roddy Rich.
You know, Trippie Redd. I mean, you know, a lot of people, you know, doing everybody.
So what do you guys think is next in Vince's career?
I mean, I think he just needs to cut some fire records and push his you know, limits.
Well, what do you think is like the key, well, not the key, but like would help, what do you think helps more, working alone, like making your own music, or getting other features?
I mean, a little both. You want to carry some strength on your own 2 feet, and then, you know, have some records that, you know, sound like they could have a feature. You utilize those people, and, you know, you can broaden your fan base too. So,
What would you say is harder, writing the song or finding a beat for it?
I would say writing the song, because I like all my songs to make sense, like a whole, like when I write a song, it's like a whole story. Like you can read the lyrics, like you're gonna feel it, like whole story through. So I like my lyrics to connect, like with my verses and hooks. So I would say writing a song, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what do you feel is like your vibe on like the type of music you make? Like, you know how some people write about success, some people write about like a girl.
I would say I bounce back a lot between like talking about like girls and then also like my build up as like an artist, like the experiences I have like trying to become a successful artist.
Yeah. And where do you see like you as an artist in 5-10 years?
I mean platinum is the goal. Like I want to go #1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like aim as high as possible, and I'm gonna just keep developing my sound, put some good songs out, maybe get some like features, and just keep marketing myself.
Who have you always
Never
wanted
stop.
to work with?
I would say I really like PARTY.BLVD,
Mm.
Olo G,
Mm-hmm.
and Post Malone is fire too.
Mm. So that's like your vibe, yeah, like.
Yeah, like some melodic, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What were your inspirations in this music stuff? Like who you look up to?
I would say I was just telling MIXX the other day, like I'll be listening to some old stuff like Tupac, Biggie.
Yeah, he definitely
Nas,
surprised me in the
yeah.
car. He played some throwback. I was like, yo, what do you know about this? Like,
Yeah.
this is fire. He just surprised me.
Yeah, so I like that, like the OG rap, and then I also like say like the new melodic rap people, like say like Trippy, or yeah, I mean, I would say like the old rap, they like develop the sound now. So like if you
Mhm.
listen to that, everything that they're saying it hits now, it repeats itself.
Mm-hmm. Now back to you guys. Something I wanted to ask you guys, since you've worked with so many artists, what artists do you think have influenced, not only him, but like what upcoming artists want to do now? What artists have influenced that the most in the past 5-10 years?
I think Drake has had a big influence on people, for sure. And I think Trippy has had a lot of big influence for a certain crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, there's a bunch of people that I think
Mm-hmm.
definitely have
Well, what do you think about that? About the new genre? Well, not new, but like the different style of rap that like Cardi and like Destroy Lonely, Ken Carson, and those type of people have started. What do you think about that? Like how it's different to regular rap at the same
I
time.
like it because they put that like emo shit in there.
Mhm.
playful too.
And playful.
Like crazy mosh pit shit.
I was telling him in the studio just a while ago, like I like how those kids, the delivery, you got like soul in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's something that I was thinking that you should try because
Yeah.
well, it's trending a lot right now, and like all those mosh pits and shit.
Yeah.
You want to see that.
Like rage music.
Mhm, like rage music,
Yeah.
Like that's mostly what we play at my events because like it gets crazy.
Yeah, don't worry, I got some new stuff tonight.
I heard.
On a rage beat, yeah.
I heard.
Everybody go
I
crazy.
heard. There's this. Oh, you've been to my venue. The venue that I've used for like most of my events is on the second floor. So whenever we play like rage music, everybody's jumping. That like even you can feel the floor shaking sometimes because like it's so many people just
Yeah.
going crazy at once.
That's the biggest type of music at a show.
Mhm.
Energy.
Mhm.
I kind of like make it important to me right now to always stay on the cusp of everything instead of getting stuck in my ways because I've been making music for so long. So I try and always stay current and follow the vibe, and that's why I find myself working with artists like Vincent and just doing what's fresh and new, and not it's like really honestly, when you have such success in the music business like I have, you start feeling like the right way to make hit records, and I want to unlearn that stuff. You know what I mean? I want to learn the way that the young boys making it, and it's like I'm very lucky. I have my son Jalen, who I've been making beats with, and he's kind of like just watching him is inspiring on a different level, the new way and different ways of making it. But there'll always be a need for melody, which is something that I'm known for bringing into music. And melody, I think, is key. You know, as long as you are filling the places rhythmically,
Yeah.
and you know the beats, make sense in the marketplace for what is current. You know, you just got to find that right bop for the moment.
Mm-hmm. And these 30 years, at some point, did you ever feel like you were staying behind with the type of music that you were doing?
No, it's kind of crazy. Like every time I make a record, it's always a hit record.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did happen though at one point in my life is I got so rich and so successful that I started getting into the nightlife and started doing partying and like drugs and went crazy, and I just quit making music because I had more money than I'd ever need for the rest of my life. So I just got into that for a long time. It took a long hiatus from music. And when I came back, I told my manager, like, I got sober and I was like, yo, let's get back to work. I want to do music again. I was like, yo, call Jay-Z, call Beyonce, call this one, call the biggest artist in the world. He's like, nah, you need to work with new artists. He's like, new artists, so you can, anybody can get a hit with Drake or with anybody that's already huge on top. Because it's going to be a hit no matter what.
Yeah.
We want you to work with new artists. And it's crazy. He put me in with like 5 or 6 new artists, and I made all of them big hit records, huge records, and helped them grow. And it was more important, I think, for the community to see, you take an artist from nothing into something. So
when you were working with these new artists, did the big artists get jealous because, you were focused on the new?
not necessarily. I mean, I never felt anything like that, but it's now the phone is ringing and like all the biggest artists want to work. So what they see, the world sees like it's a commendable thing when you have accomplished something, when you can take an artist and blow them up. I've done it so many times in my career. Like Chris Brown, for example. I gave Chris Brown his first song ever in his career. It's called Run It. Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, and I told him that day, he was like 15 years old. I said, I'm gonna make you a #1 song right now.
How old was he?
It's like 15. I said, I'm gonna make you a #1 song right here, right now, today. And he's like, all right. I was like, do me a favor. If I make you a #1 song, don't ever change. Just always stay humble and be the cool motherfucker that you are. And I feel like he did. And I did make him a #1 song that day. Literally, we did the song. 6 months later, it was #1. And I did his next song too, Give Me That, too, as well. That was also a hit.
Did you ever plan that your songs would be that much of a hit?
I mean, that's what I do, man. I'm not good at many things, but I'm good at making beats and breaking ground and staying a pioneer and not doing what everybody else does. I do something my shit. I do it my way, but I just stay current with it my way.
So MIXX Montage, how do you feel, or how does it feel to you just got out of a session with MIXX and Scott, and you're doing a podcast right now about you, and then you're going to a show tonight to perform with Liverpool.
Yeah, I think
How do you feel?
it's
That's growth, man.
It's crazy.
It's good. I feel like it's a result of all the work I've been putting in this past 3 years, and I'm blessed to work with 2 great producers, Scott and MIXX, and I'm gonna just keep going, and I can't wait to perform tonight. We're about to turn up. Sir.
Yeah, no, that already tells you a lot of what's up next.
Yeah, I'm gonna just stay focused, stay humble, and keep going.
Gets greater later.
Yeah, sir.
All right, guys,
Solid.
that was interviewing VINCE Montage, Scott and MIXX here with Trevon. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you at the next episode.
Sir.